adapting to climate change. I won't talk about this either because you have heard a lot about this. I won't talk about this, but I wanted to ask you all a question. As all foresters, I'm also an alumni of UPM, but not forestry faculty, unfortunately. But when I was many, many years ago, a little bit younger than MTIB, okay? But when I was into the bus, you go to the forest. So I was very envious. So I know all of you know how to calculate dry matter. Do you all? If you don't know, then you're not a forester. So carbon stocks calculations is no big deal. That is what is the first message. If you know your biomass, I put it very small because I want you all to strain a bit. When you strain, you will remember for life. Probably you have forgotten when you did your dendrology or whatever course, when you calculated your biomass public funds. That's what I want to say. And JPSM, you know how to do forest carbon. Don't ever tell me you don't know. I will strangle all of you or send you back to forestry faculty. So you do forest inventories. You said you did forest carbon. You should know from your first NFI to the 6th, what is our carbon stocks. So I think we know we have very good literature on this, and there's also a lot of database referring to what Malaysian forest carbon stocks is. But now, as we become more IT savvy, we are also looking at remote sensing. Remote sensing has its challenges, and many literatures had said at least there is 25 to 30% overestimate when you use just remote sensing in your carbon stocks. So whichever measurements you use, you have to use it with purpose. And what is it for? So some of you had also touched on this. You talked about forest growth. And I want to just add one thing. There is a very good study that had looked at the Amazon forest and Malaysian, Brunei, and Kalimantan forests. Same tropical forest, to see what's the growth of this forest. And it was noted that the Malaysian forest total carbon stocks in our forest ecosystem. Why that has changed? Because I think in Peninsular Malaysia in 1970s, maybe most of you are not born, then it was 8 million hectares of forest, and now we have 5 million. When our forest shrinks, definitely our total carbon stocks also shrinks. So I want to distinguish one point here. When we say our total forest carbon stocks is reduced, it's not because our management has failed. I'm using a source from Forestry Department's NFI report, which I've memorized all the 5 NFIs. This is the values that we have got, and we have not changed much. So it's not the management, because the area has shrunk. So the carbon stocks has reduced. So I want to we heard climate change, we heard forests, a lot of things, forest carbon this morning. I just want to bear with me. I only have another 5 slides. I didn't intend to drag this too long. This is when a forest is remaining forest. So you keep a forest from this state to this state. If you don't do anything, there is no any increment in your biomass. So you do something, there would be an increment. So this increment is what we would say forest sinks or removals. So if you have a very high carbon stocks, so your starting point is high. So, so this is what in climate change we are interested in. We are covered that. If you disturb that, then you have a lot of CO2, methane, CO. But how can you increase this? That is the question that is being asked. And then if you have natural forests converted to plantations, if your carbon stocks in natural forests is high and you plant plantations, this is emissions. So when we say we want to keep forests, natural forests to plantations, think about it. When we say we want to plant trees, think about it. Where are you planting? If you want to address you want to address climate change. So also going back to the story on carbon markets, it's only this component, and you have to show a lot of other things, and this component is definitely no-go for carbon markets. So this one, you have to prove this, and you have to also fulfill 2 or 3 or a few other criteria before you can go into carbon markets. This is the most important slide that I think if you can forget everything else except the sweet voice, this slide you should remember. And I just want to say Malaysia reports based on international methodologies how much our forests had sequestered over the period of time. The green one is what we have, and all the others are all the other land use. So it's because of the forest. We have maintained about 200 to 230 million tons of CO2 that has been removed. I've been told 5 more minutes, so I have 3 more slides, so I'll finish it quickly. So I wanted to introduce this concept because I think, again, there's a lot of confusion in carbon markets, and people think it's so easy to get the trillions of money that's available. I don't think you will get trillions or billions, but maybe some small money if you're lucky. So carbon markets is actually a financial instrument under climate change. It is a trading system where you have something and 2 parties buy. That is what it is. But you don't sell something for the sake